Hi you guys, I know I'm a little bit early right now. I actually wanted to do this. It says am I connected to Wi-Fi? I am. Interesting. I wonder why it's saying that. I wanted to do like a meeting type thing online for those of us who might find it hard to leave our houses or whatever. And just so everybody knows, this is a safe place if you are an addict or you have depression, any of those things. This is a safe place where you can come. Anonymity is very important. Everybody here is very kind to each other. Hello, Yolanda. So this is going to be not my average video, but it's going to be kind of like an online meeting. And I figured we could do something like that. So I'm going to start with myself. My name is Gina, and I am an addict in recovery. I have been sober off of heroin for about 4 years, and this is drug addicts and alcoholics welcome. Everybody is welcome to my channel. And this is kind of like I wanted to do more of like an open discussion meeting. I'm looking online right now while I'm waiting to see if anybody else is coming for some activities we can do. Let's see. If anybody wants to introduce themselves in the comments, that would be great. Nobody wants to introduce themselves? If anybody is in active recovery right now, just give a big yes. Hello, Seth. My day is going good, Yolanda. Thank you. So I figured one of the things that we could talk about today is triggers, if that's something that you guys would want to talk about. Steve says, hi, I'm Steve. Been clean from heroin for 3 years. Currently on methadone. Me too. I'm on methadone also. Hello, Yolanda. She says, hello, I'm Yolanda. So I feel, I thought today we could talk about triggers a little bit, if that's okay. They say that when you can get triggered by anything. You can get triggered by a scent. You can get triggered by, yes, definitely. Congratulations, Steve. You can get triggered by a smell, a color, anything. And they say that a trigger lasts about 10 minutes. I wanted to talk to you guys about triggers and see what your guys' triggers are and talk about different coping mechanisms that we could do as a team to, you know, work together to stay a sober community. First thing that I want to say is I've been seeing a lot in the comments. If somebody comes in here looking for help, I don't want anyone to, like, there was a girl who came in here the other day and was talking about trying to find a doctor for benzos. No more attacking people in the comments. Whether you feel it's justified or not, no more attacking anyone in the comments, or even if you're my best friend, I won't have you here. So let me look up online some things that we could talk about. Let's see, with triggers, addiction triggers. Let's see what we can find. You know what a trigger is for me? I realized today. Brandon. I'm Brandon on methadone, 19 years, clean from H. Unfortunately, benzodiazepines are my struggle. Hi, I'm from Denver. Hi, well, congratulations on your 19-year sobriety. Benzos is very, very difficult to come off of, so I totally understand that. So does everybody here, like, know how to identify their triggers? I think being able to identify your triggers is really important. Like I can say for myself, today, and that's why I wanted to do this, today I felt triggered when I went to my methadone program. I have been sober for a while now, and I had gotten in trouble recently for a false positive, and I was triggered and angry and wanted to get high because I see other people around me who are currently using with no consequences. So that's a personal issue that I have to work on, but I'm glad that I can identify it. One of my biggest coping mechanisms, and it's not really that good, is sleeping. But common triggers in addiction is like stress, people, locations, mood, dates, and smells. So that's like what I'm going off some websites too. Absolutely, it is very important, so you can try and avoid those. Emotions commonly associated with substance abuse include anger, loneliness, anxiety, exhaustion, frustration, and depression. That's why, like I said above, Brandon, when you were talking about benzos, a major part of, you know, addiction is there's a lot of anxiety that comes with it. So I would say, and maybe this isn't the best thing to say, but like I said, we're a very loving and understanding family here. Do not be too hard on yourself, and just work every day as hard as you can. But do not be too hard on yourself. Just remember the dangers that can happen from being on benzos in mixture with methadone. And that's all that I can say, because I myself take benzos. I was prescribed until I lost my doctor, but I still have some left over, so I've still been taking them. There's also environmental triggers, emotional triggers, and social triggers. I was wondering, I wanted to ask, what are your guys' coping mechanisms? Do you guys have any special coping mechanisms that you guys do? To avoid using or anything like that? I know for me, I come on here and I live stream and I try and help other people. Drug dreams. Ooh, that's something that I'm about to get into in a little bit. Reading, that's a very good thing too. Taking a hot shower, that's a really good coping. It's like I'm glad that these will replay because now I don't have to write them down. Writing sometimes helps for people. But it's funny that you say that about drug dreams, because does everybody here know about post-acute withdrawal symptoms? Hello, Brandy. Thank you, Brandon. Yes. So for those of you who don't know what post-acute withdrawal symptoms are, it's you can be 2 years into sobriety and wake up one morning in complete withdrawal, physically and mentally. It's something that we as addicts all go through, as far as I know. Drug dreams is a very big part of post-acute withdrawal symptoms, actually. Yes. Yes, pause. Wonderful pause. I think I experienced a little bit of pause this morning. When I woke up this morning and I just felt like straight crap. Now, I'm on a website right now. It says the 10 most common addiction relapse triggers. Let's see if these are true. The acronym HALT is used to describe high-risk situations. Oh, this is actually really good. Oh, it says I have bad connection. Hold on. I'm on Wi-Fi. I don't know why. Can you guys see me okay? There we go. Hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. That's actually a really good thing, and I'm glad that I just read that, because I do realize that when I'm hungry, angry, lonely, and tired, those are high-risk situations for me, personally. So when you're tired, I guess you would say go to sleep. Lonely. I deal with loneliness all the time too. Emotions, stress, overconfidence. Overconfidence is another big thing. We can talk about that another day. Never feel like you're safe. The biggest mistake anyone can make is to say, I can do it just this one time. I know I won't get back into it. Biggest mistake you can say. Mental or physical illness. That's another thing. I suggest for everybody who I know who is an addict is to definitely go to the doctor and see, like, for a dual diagnosis. You know what I mean? Another thing is that triggers people to relapse commonly is reminiscing about or glamorizing past drug use. Now, there is a fine line that comes with that. And if you're in a program, you need to be able to speak up to your counselor. Okay, this is a big part of why I do not go to group therapy. And this is a big part of why I do not tell my drug stories, because I know there is a very fine line between, if you guys are wondering how my face, it's glitter. There's a very fine line between telling a story and glamorizing addiction. And actually, one of the things that got me started using was reading a book that it was too close teetering on the line. And it was the Motley Crue, The Heroin Diaries. And looking back, I wish I almost never read that book. Because a part of me saw the glamour in it, you know? So I wasn't afraid of heroin after reading that. Hey, Max. Yeah. You know what they say about addiction? Even when you're in a program, your addiction is doing push-ups in the parking lot. How to identify and overcome addiction triggers. Let's check this out. Is there anything specifically you guys want to talk about addiction? This is like, I want this to be like an open thing where if you guys want to talk about a certain thing. Yeah, Max, wondering, you read The Heroin Diaries while you were addicted. Did that make you want to stop using, or did it almost glamorize it to a way where you wanted to do more? I'm just curious, because for me personally, it almost glamorized it to me. You have to be very careful with those books. I would say a really great book about addiction is The Dream Seller by Brandon Novak. Very good. If you guys want me to like start reading like excerpts from it, maybe like once a week until it's done. I know that's kind of cheating, but I will. Exactly. It made you feel like there was nothing wrong with being addicted. Yeah. Love Brandon Novak here too. Now, they say ways to identify a trigger. Is it a good read? It depends on how far you are in recovery. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it personally. If you want to read a good book that has to do with drugs, I would suggest The Dream Seller. Definitely. The Heroin Diaries almost made me feel like I want to get high as that guy was, you know? Yes, Sly Fox, there are always going to be people in my life, at least, who will always think I'm on drugs no matter what, because I spent such a big portion of my life using. But also, like, if that's happening to other people aside from me, we have to realize that comes with the territory of being an addict or an addict in recovery. Is people will not trust us for a very long time. And that's something that we need to understand. Now, I don't know if you guys know how to discover or realize if you're having a trigger or not, but physical symptoms might include tightness in your stomach or feeling nervous throughout your body. Psychological, increased thoughts of how good you would feel from using, remembering times from the past, feeling the need, or planning how you would go about getting it. Now, triggers are very short-lived, or they're supposed to be at least. I've had some triggers that last a very long time, but I would say taking a hot shower, I forgot who suggested that, that's actually a really good thing. At the same time, it's a trigger for me to be... Yes, okay, that, psychologically, okay, there has been a scientific study done that shows... Okay, let's say like I'm talking to somebody right now and this person says, well, I still think you're using and they still treat you like you're using and blah, blah, blah. And I'm sure you guys have probably said it yourself. If everybody thinks I'm high, I might as well be using. Has anybody ever said that before? Now, there are scientific studies that have actually recently been done about that show that when people approach you and they accuse you of being high, it does make you, in your head, it could trigger a relapse. And not, so when you're telling people I might as well be high, you're not saying it to be an ass. You might think in the moment you're saying it to be an ass, but what's really happening is in your brain, like they have done studies on this, that is a major trigger. That's why a lot of therapists and stuff are very like walking on eggshells when it comes to talking about that type of stuff. I don't really believe in triggers besides seeing drugs until I put a shirt on for it. Yep. I cannot use secret deodorant anymore. Nope. It reminds me of heroin too much, and it's weird how it can remind you. But one thing that I want to say is, and this is something that Brandon Novak did say, and this is why I think his book is so great. Sobriety will give you everything that drugs promised you and more. And the only thing about sobriety is a lot of people says, you know, like, oh, but life is so hard. Like, you know, I feel like my life has gotten worse since I got sober. I don't know if anybody feels that way. I felt that way for a while. My life has gotten so much worse now that I'm sober. When in all reality, it hasn't gotten worse. It's just we're finally dealing with the issues I never dealt with before. You know? Does anybody want to talk about anything specific? And I just want to say, too, if anybody is in a relapse right now, if anybody here is in a relapse right now, feel free to reach out to me privately. I can help you find a program. See, my biggest issue was I was never willing to go to a program that would not let me smoke cigarettes in it. Oh, Yolanda, I forgot to watch it. I'll have to watch it. Yep, I can't go into my parents' house either, because I used heroin in there for so long. What do I do to overcome my triggers or moments of wanting to use? A lot of the times I sleep, to be honest. I sleep and I remind myself that and this method might not work for everybody, but like, let's say that I'm triggered to get high. I try to tell myself, well, I'll try and hold out for 10 minutes. If I still feel like I want to, it'll still be there. And then when that 10 minutes come, I'll say, okay, well, I'm going to try and hold out a little bit longer. And then finally, I'll just forget about it. Meditation does help. I do. Hi, Lorianne. I do talk about addiction a lot. This is something new that I might be doing, though, is like online meetings. Meditating and focus, that's a really great thing, too. Yeah, there's no judging in this or anything like that. We don't judge here. We are very nice here. Now, what is your guys' hardest part about being sober? What's the hardest part about being sober for you guys? Brandy, I totally agree with that. That's difficult. Steve, you missed the lifestyle. Yup. I gotta say that's one of mine too. Often I miss the lifestyle. Just means we need to create a new lifestyle. Find something else to do. See, running the streets and getting the drugs and all that, we could do the same thing, but not with drugs. Maybe we could find something else, like where we're, like, instead of going, like for me, instead of going to Schenectady and walking all the way to my dealer's house to get drugs, maybe I can go on a long walk downtown and grab a coffee. I don't know if it would fully replace it, but maybe it's something to try. Yes, being sober and having to deal with things you bottle up, that sucks too. Going on walks, yeah. I wish I could walk. I recently caught my foot on a razor blade and I have CRPS in my legs, so I can't really walk that much. But, let's see. You missed the money? Yeah, that's a tough one. All right. The comment says, they did a study that said that smoking cigarettes, I know what you're talking about, is powerful as heroin addiction, and like quitting smoking is just as hard. How do I feel about that? I don't feel like that's true. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I know for me, when I was using heroin, you don't go into withdrawal if you don't have a cigarette. Not like the mental addiction with cigarettes is very, very, very tough. Very tough. Not gonna lie about that. Very tough. But it's like comparing apples and oranges, honestly. You really can't compare the two. It's like when I would go to jail, okay? I would not have nicotine withdrawal. I would forget about cigarettes, didn't even care about them. But the heroin, I would be detoxing hard. You know what I mean? So I believe that it's not harder than heroin. I believe that it's just a different type of addiction, and it's difficult, of course. All addictions are difficult to beat. But to say that it's worse, I wouldn't really say that. I couldn't agree with that. I had to cut those friends off because they still use. I'm a loner now. Yes, and one of the hardest things for me is making new friends. And that's why I created this channel, and that's why I think this channel is great for all of us, because like now, let's say I go and I meet a new friend on the street. It's like, hi, my name is Gina. Hi, my name is Jessica. Tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Where do you live? What are your hobbies? And then usually if you tell the truth, it's an immediate turnoff. You just lost making that friends. Sometimes that causes a lot of relapses, I think, because like we try to stick within our own. You know what I mean? And it's a really hard thing to break out of. It's a very hard thing to break out of. It's like, because you feel like for me, I feel like if I'm going to become friends with somebody, I want them to understand. I want them to know what I've been through. I want them to be like, no, I totally understand that feeling. But you know what? When you're feeling that way and you want a friend like that, a good person to look for is a sponsor. Because a sponsor basically is a friend who was been an addict, but it's a safe person also. You know what I mean? So if you guys are feeling lonely, I would check out looking into sponsors, because it's kind of like making an addict friend, but it's a lot safer. And you can still talk about things. You can talk about, you have the same past. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to find a sober person that I can relate to unless they are a sponsor. You know what I mean? Like, it's nice, like, we all here in the chat have become friends, but we don't trigger each other, and it's great. And that's one of the things that I love about this, is that we can come on here and we can talk and we can be open and we can become friends with each other, but we're friends from a distance. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's like we're not too dangerous to each other, you know? And it kind of prepares you. But if you guys are ever feeling like, oh, I can't make a friend because nobody can relate, you know, which is how I feel all the time, then definitely look into getting a sponsor. I mean, because that's somebody who can relate to you, but they're very safe. No, meetings are not for everybody. That's why I'm trying this online, so that we could just all talk together about addiction and how we're doing in it and stuff like that. And it's like, especially like trying to go to AA as a drug addict, they're not very accepting. We are very accepting here. Trace, did you ever use heroin though? You probably can definitely relate to my feelings, even if you haven't used heroin, because addiction is addiction no matter what. Kristen, congratulations! Congratulations on being 4 months clean. I gotta start getting buttons and pins that I can mail out to you guys. How would you guys like that? Jessica, I'll be completely honest, going to meetings doesn't always help me either. And meetings are... Like, they started new meetings around me. They're called HA, and it's specifically for heroin addicts. Thank you guys all for being so kind to her. That's so great. You see, that's what I mean. You guys are all so caring and, like, great to each other. I love it. Meetings can backfire because a lot of people go in there as a place, like, a lot of drug dealers, like, oh, this is an easy moneymaker, you know? Look at all the love, Kristen, you are getting right now. We are so proud of you. So proud of you. Well, that's awesome that you are willing to learn. That's great, Trace, that you are, like, you know, willing to learn about addiction like that. A lot of people aren't. A lot of people just take what they know about addiction and act like they know everything. It's really cool that you came here to learn more. You know, a lot of people don't want to learn more. Yes, Mad Max, that is the very thing. You never want to get into a relationship in a meeting or in inpatient. Not good. I can't say that's always bad, but like, I'll tell you guys my story. Yeah, we could start. I gotta find some online. Maybe if we could find some coins on eBay, like some 30 days, 60 days, coins like that for newcomers. And if you guys want, if you guys know any other addicts, you can share this stream with them, this particular stream, and let them know that we are going to be doing this more often. That would be really cool. Maybe this will be, what day is today? Thursday? Maybe we could start doing this every Thursday morning. I can help explain that to you right now, Trace. What she commented was, most will never understand how a mother can choose drugs over their children, but they don't understand addiction. I want to understand more so I can explain it to my children in the future. Jake, I'm doing great. Thank you. Now, on that topic, see, when I was using, the love for my son never changed. I loved my son with my whole heart. That never changed at all. But in order to take care of him and be around him, I couldn't be in withdrawal. I could not be in withdrawal. I could not be a parent in withdrawal. So I would have to get high. And if that meant leaving him with my mom so I could run off and get some heroin, that's what I would do. It's not something that we choose to do like that. It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's easier said than done, you know, because our mentality, first of all, they say that when you start using drugs like hard, your brain actually stops developing at whatever age you're at, and it kind of stays that way until you actually become sober. Now, like, I live with a lot of regret, obviously, but, when it comes to addiction, it's not that you love your kids any less. It's just that your addiction always comes first. Addiction always, and it's very sad. It's sad and it sucks, but it's the truth. It's the truth. It's hard as an ad because it completely takes over your brain. It completely takes over your brain. Your way of thinking is irrational. It's not so much you making that choice, it's your addiction, you know? I made the choice when I was using to separate myself from my son. Like, I made a conscious choice that I did not want him to be a part of, or exposed to my addiction when I was using when he was young. And it's probably one of the best choices I could have made. My mom did great with him, and I just did not want to take a chance of ever hurting him or anything like that. Like, sometimes it's different for everybody. You know, not everybody has, some people can say, oh, yes, I always put my kids first, but to me, that was putting my kid first. You know what I mean? Yes, Yolanda, I 100% agree with what Yolanda just said. It's really not, it's not that we're choosing drugs over our kids, it's that our addiction is taking control of us. You know what I mean? Looking back on that, I'm glad that I could have hurt my son plenty of times if I had taken him with me when I decided to get high or something. And I wouldn't want that. Like, I was one of those people who would go up to my mom and be like, I am going to get high. Please take Tyler for an hour. Like, and then I'll be back. But I couldn't have him be a part of that. That's also true, Jake. Exactly, and that's why I told I would give my son to my mom, and it didn't mean that I loved him any less. It did not mean that I loved him any less. It just meant that my addiction was my everything, and there was nothing I could do about it. There was nothing I could do about it. I was in complete and total control. Heroin had taken me over 100%, and I was doing it. This wasn't like a small addiction. I was doing multiple bundles a day, living on the street, getting jumped, robbing people. Like, it was no good. It was no good, and it was, Exactly, Yolanda. So that's why my mom had my son, and until I am 100%, then I will have him back. Do I see him? All the time. All the time. The more I get further in my recovery, the more me and him are close. And it's great, because, and I do want him to know about addiction. I definitely want him to know. I want him to grow up hating addiction, hating it. And right now, he does know the truth about his father. He knows that his father is paying for the consequences of bad actions that he made. He doesn't know that he's in prison, but he does know that he is not going to be around for a little while for bad choices that he made. And that I told Tyler, I said, always remember to make good choices in your life. And when he's older, I'll explain more to him. But, Oh, yeah, it's like, Jake, you're totally on point. Totally on point. You can't, does he know that you are his mom? And yes, he does, Paula. Absolutely. He calls me Gina because he hears everybody else call me Gina. So I just let him do it. It's fine. I call my mom Lori sometimes. Hold on a second. I just got a message. Hold on. Alright, how do I close? Ah, my phone could be freezing. There we go. Am I still here? Oh, come on with this phone. I hate when people message me or try and call me when I'm live streaming. Absolutely hate it. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to close this out, and it is not working. Seriously? All right, there we go. Oh, when I was on heroin, I would just sometimes, my emotions would go crazy. I'd start crying, screaming. My emotions would be amplified by 20 sometimes. But the important things in life, it was like, you know, it's so weird because it's like I would be, it's almost like being a parent didn't matter when I was sick. And then when I would get high, it's like I would start crying and be like, I miss my son. I can't believe I'm doing this, because I was no longer in withdrawal. It's very strange. Thank you, Jake. Was my son born addicted? I was put on methadone when I was pregnant, and I was very far into my pregnancy before I had even found out that I was pregnant. I was advised to not try and quit heroin on my own, and I was put on a low dose of methadone. He was born slightly addicted to methadone. He did very well. We gave him a little bit of medication for like 2 weeks and then took him off. He's the smartest kid in his class. Smartest kid in his class. I think I was about four months sober, maybe 5, when I found out. And, you know, I found out because me and Trevor were walking down the street, homeless as usual. And he's like, you are being such a bitch today. You should take a pregnancy test. And I was like, oh, I haven't had my period in that long, so. Is there anything else that you guys, like, anybody in particular wants to talk about? A lot of you guys are on methadone like me. Is anybody sober and not on a maintenance program? I was very young, Jessica, when I was pregnant with my son, so I just did exactly what the doctors told me. I didn't know what I was doing. No idea. I had no idea what I was doing, what to do, anything like that. And they're probably doing really good now, right, Max? I might be forever too, you never know. But you know what? If it keeps me staying safe and sober, then it's fine. It's fine for me. Yep. When I went to the doctor, when I first found out I was pregnant, I did tell them that I was using heroin. They said that I was about 4 or 5 months along, I don't remember. And they were like, okay, at this point with your addiction and how much you're using, your best bet is methadone. And they got me on the methadone clinic the next day. And I was very young, and I just did exactly what they told me to do, because I didn't know what to do, you know? And it's like, when you find out you're pregnant at like 4 or 5 months, it's like, shit, I only even have 4 months to prepare for this, you know? Like, yes, I feel like methadone has saved a lot of lives, but one thing I would not recommend is, I feel, okay, and this is my personal opinion. I feel like, if you have not tried inpatient, outpatient multiple times, if you have not tried Suboxone, if you have not tried it, I feel like methadone needs to be like a last ditch attempt if you absolutely cannot do it on your own. I wish that everybody would give anything a chance first before methadone, and that methadone should be like a last ditch option, like you will die if you don't take it. I also don't think that methadone should be taken, and people might not agree with me on this, and that's totally fine, but for people who take pills, I think that they're better off on Suboxone, to be honest. Methadone is too much, so to speak, for people who are addicted to pills. I have seen too many people ruin their lives and say, wow, this methadone fucks me up way more than pills do. This was the biggest mistake of my life. Like, I'm more addicted now than I ever was. So I would say maybe if you're doing pills, one of the better options would be to definitely try inpatient, outpatient, all of that first. And if nothing, I hate when I get a call during this. I tell everybody, I say, I'm about to be live streaming. Do not call me for an hour. People call anyways. But yeah, I would say definitely use Suboxone as like a last resort, or methadone as a last resort. I've been on methadone for about, how long now? About 3.5, 4 years. Exactly how long has I've been sober, pretty much. No, 4 years, because I didn't stop using right away. I've been on methadone this time. I'm trying to clean off my bed because I'm taking a nap after this. A nap. Naps are so good. You know what, too? I think naps are so good for people who are in early, like when you're just coming off drugs, if you can sleep, you know, maybe some Tylenol PM, because your body heals itself so much when you're sleeping. Your body does so much work for you while you're sleeping. If, you know, I actually know some, ow, oh, don't tell me I stepped on something else. I actually know somebody who was put into an induced coma, so to speak, until for about a week, and the doctors had flushed their body out completely, and they woke up feeling like they had never touched a drug a day in their life. But I guess that's really expensive to do. I haven't been reading the comments. Oh, hey, Mom. Being able to let us help you with Tyler until you're ready emotionally is being a good mom. Thank you, Mom, so much. I'm doing an online meeting right now. Yeah, that's my mom. Me and her have been getting along really well lately. And she is great with Tyler. You know, she does so much. And because she was a parent before, she knows so much that I have no idea anything about. You know what I mean? Like, especially with my foot. Like, I've never taught a kid how to ride a bike, but she has. So she's got, like, she's just so good at it, you know, and she's so good with Tyler. And I'm glad that I made that choice. Like, Mom, I don't know if you remember, but I remember very clearly me passing Tyler off to you and telling you, I'm going to get high and I am not taking him with me for his safety. Like, I did not want having Tyler around while I was using would have been the worst thing for him, you know? So, my mom has been through so much, too. We all have to give our parents credit. All of us have to give our parents some credit. Because the shit we put them through, whew. Suboxone made me suicidal. Thank God I didn't have that reaction with methadone. Anyone else? Huh, I've never heard of that. Was it an actual reaction from the Suboxone, you think? Thank you guys so much. Yeah, me and my mom have been getting along really good lately, and I'm very happy about it. I'm really sad that she's going to be moving soon. But maybe I'll be moving when I'm done with probation, and that would be cool. She definitely puts Tyler before her in everything that she does, and I'm really grateful for that. Sometimes I get in that, like, mom mode where it's like I want things done my way, but then I have to remember she's been helping me for so long. I need to just let her do her thing because she's done so good so far. Like, so... Thank you, Trace. Really? You know what, Max? I gotta agree. When I remember being on Suboxone just did not work for me. I ended up selling it for heroin. Didn't work for me. See, Paula, that is a perfect example of somebody who should be on methadone. See, your situation is different. That's, like, you tried other ways first. You know what I mean? But I see so many people who are like, oh, I'm addicted to pills, I'm going to get on methadone. And it's like, maybe they were taking, like, 4 hydros a day, and now they're going to get on methadone? Like, it's like, you're about to ruin your life. Like, have fun getting off that. You would have been better off tapering off and getting on Suboxone. But it's like, oh, my God. My girlfriend is a wonderful person. When she was on heroin, she made terrible decisions. She didn't enjoy it. I thought she was going to die. I'm so grateful for Suboxone. Yes, Suboxone is definitely a life-saving drug. Suboxone and methadone. My dad's like one of the people who don't really like methadone too much, but then again, he doesn't really know too much about it right now. A lot of people say that if you are on methadone or Suboxone, you are not sober. And you know what I say to that? There's a lot more to being sober than just not using drugs. Now, I consider myself sober, even though I'm on methadone, because I don't live a drug lifestyle anymore. I don't run the like, a lot of people need to realize there's a lot more to sobriety than just not using drugs. You know, so don't ever get upset or offended when people tell you you're not sober if you're on a program. Be like, well, am I still doing this, and this? No, I'm not. So, let's see. Oh my God, Jake, good for you. 11 years clean, that is insane. How old are you? Your picture makes you look like you're about 19. You should add me to Facebook, Jake. Did you add me yet? What's your name on there? Make sure to add me. Do your veins ever come back to normal? Honestly, I don't know. Mine, some of them have and some of them haven't. But, hopefully. The last time I had to get blood work done, they had to get an ultrasound guy in just to find a vein. Collapsed veins, yes, you are right about that. Collapsed veins are unfixable. But sometimes, like, you have a lot, like, there are other vein issues too you can have. But I know that, well, think about it this way. When you were using a vein, if you stop using it for a couple weeks and go back to using it, it works fine, right? So if it hasn't gotten to the point of collapsing, then they probably can come back. I know my mom at one point too was so nice. She got me this scar cream to try and help with it. And boy, oh boy, do I wish I used it. Oh, I have some type of lump right here. Maybe this is it. Glitter all down my face. Yeah, check out some scar cream too, you guys. I know it's expensive, but actually, honestly, I don't mind my scars. They remind me. They remind me of what I was. Let's see. I also gone. They got draw blood from the. Ooh. Yeah, when they came, they had to. They tried to use a vein finder. Wouldn't work. They tried everything they could. They ended up having to pull it out of like the top of my arm up here. And they had to use an ultrasound multiple times to find a vein. And it was so impossible. So impossible. It was hard. And I'm getting phone calls, so I gotta get going. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you soon. Alright, I'll see you. Yeah, it's frozen because people keep calling me. Alright, I will talk to you guys soon. Love you. Bye.